Hello, my soulful evolutionaries. I'm Megan Zimring, and I'm here today to talk to you about the super full moon in Gemini that'll be exact on Tuesday, December 13th. This is going to be a really powerful full moon, and I really like to begin before diving into this full moon energy by pointing to the previous lunar cycle that we just moved through, so we can really see how each moon cycle and lunar energetic hit that we get is an opportunity for us to take another step forward and consciously use that specific energetic signature to manifest our lives. So as we build up step by step, we really see how we can get momentum going every month with each new and full moon. They actually build on one another when we work with them consciously. So that's kind of the logic behind why I like to point to the previous lunar cycle, so we understand what foundation we have built upon to really work most effectively with this current lunar energy. So over the past month, we had a full moon in Scorpio, followed by a new moon in Sagittarius, and then now we're turning the corner into this full moon in Gemini. So the full moon in Scorpio that we had last month was really, really powerful, and it created an invitation for us to go very deep inward inside of ourselves to explore the emotional realm and understand on a deep psychological level what unresolved issues are still residing inside of us and where our work and healing where it lies. So essentially it's deep psychotherapy, right? The Greek word psyche, soul, means soul, and then therapy, therapos, healing, soul healing. The scorpionic energy is so much related to deep soul healing. So that really was the invitation during that time, turning inward, going very deep, oftentimes experiencing extremely powerful emotions to understand where the unresolved issues lie so we can move through them and heal them. It's a deep dive exploratory mission. Then we moved into the new moon in Sagittarius a couple weeks ago, where we were invited to turn outward and really engage with the big picture, with the world as a whole, really taking more of a mountaintop perspective and expanding beyond ourselves, expanding beyond old outdated belief systems, expanding beyond the culture that we live in to have eyes on new ways of being and really having a bigger perspective so that we can integrate all that we've learned into a more holistic interpretation of life. So Scorpionic energy was about turning us inward. Sagittarian energy, we were invited to turn outward and explore like the highest, most mountaintop perspective. So we really see, I'm trying to paint the picture here of a lot of space being created in the arenas that we've been invited to explore and work with over the last month, from the deepest places inside of ourselves, inside of our own being, inside of our emotional bodies and our psyche, the deepest dive inward, all the way to literally imagine like a guru sitting on a mountaintop, where you have that mountaintop perspective and you get to see from up above a more holistic, integrative interpretation of the world as a whole, so that you can aggregate information that actually takes into account a variety of different perspectives to really get clear about what it is that you believe and how you want to show up in the world. So we're seeking information from up above, and we're seeking information from deep, deep inside. So there's a lot of ground to cover that we've been moving through in terms of the invitation of the last month. Very intense. Now we turn toward the Gemini full moon, where it's almost like, I imagine, an exploratory vehicle, where the Gemini energy brings in a quality of curiosity, and it's an invitation to explore all of it. So we want to really put our the hat on of the student, where we get comfortable inside of the questions, inside of uncertainty. So Gemini, we can turn inward and like not be so emotionally engaged with the inner world, but still turn inward and ask the questions and seek to discover and explore and get curious about what you find inside of yourself. So it's like the vehicle that we use to explore the inner world from a more lighthearted place versus the scorpionic place, where we risk becoming over-identified with the emotional realm. And then with ease, the Gemini vehicle can take us back out into the world where we get to explore the world as a whole, all the spaces around us, the faces around us, the people, the places, the food, the questions, the arenas of study. We get to explore it all. This Gemini vehicle can take us all the way up to where the guru was sitting on the mountaintop, where we get to ask the bigger questions. Gemini is really comfortable with the questions. So during this time, it's not about seeking for certainty. That's not really where the aim is here. It's about being comfortable inside of uncertainty. There's actually a quote. It says, it's only in uncertainty that we're naked and alive, that we're truly, truly alive. So during this time, sit comfortably in the seat of your own consciousness and be okay with the questions. Where am I going? What am I doing? You're still on a mission right now to explore all of it and get clear about what is true for you. This does have a lot to do with truth. So the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, we look to Mercury as well during this full moon to get clear about a deeper layer of all of this. Mercury, the messenger of the gods, is conjunct the planet Pluto. So this brings in another layer. Pluto is the Lord of the underworld. This is about incisiveness and depth and truth and realness. There's nothing that can hide from the Plutonian signature. So there's no elephants in the living room here where we just turn a blind eye or a shoulder to a truth that's existing that we may not want to face. This is actually a really important time to have your eyes wide open, be willing to see it all, and even if the truths that you're being presented with create an energy of fear or doubt or uncertainty, this is the opportunity to be comfortable with it and be willing to face everything that it is that's coming forward for you inside of yourself and outside of yourself, as the Scorpionic energy and the Sagittarian energy has paved the way for us to sit comfortably within and without, and have our eyes open to seek questions. Seek questions. We actually sit comfortably with the questions in the Gemini energy. And then because the sun is still in Sagittarius opposing this full moon, Sagittarius energy is more about the answers. So with the Gemini full moon, we sit with the questions, but be confident that when you're willing to sit with the questions, sit in uncertainty, you position yourself to create space for the answers to emerge without feeling pressured or forced to find them. And it's in that place that you actually open your mind to a vast arena of experience to enter your space. So the Gemini energy as well is a lot about perception. So what is it that you are positioning yourself to perceive through your senses, through your sight, through sound, through taste, through touch? What is it that you're actually perceiving every day? So are you perceiving the same things? Are you positioning yourself to see the same people, have the same conversations, eat the same foods, hear the same sounds? When you do that, the same thought cycles will be processing in your mind, and emotion follows thought. So when you're perceiving the same things, you're thinking the same things, you're feeling the same things, it then comes to be true that you're believing the same things because you're in that more monotonous, routine cycle. That is not what Gemini is about. This is about being willing to consciously change that which you're perceiving so that you actually position yourself to get almost like a shock to your system. So when you get a shock, like a new perception comes in that you've never experienced before, a new idea, a new sight, a new sound, a new conversation, that shock therapy brings in a new cycle of thoughts. It triggers new cycles of thought, which trigger new cycles of emotion and triggers new ideas to cycle throughout your consciousness. And you position yourself actually to create an entirely new story with an entirely new perspective and entirely new belief systems than you were carrying before. So this is really a feeling of expanding beyond that which we find familiar, stretching the mind. So monotony, boredom, that's the antithesis of this energy. This is the time to consciously change it up, do something different, make an effort to do something different. And when you do that, you position yourself to call in new, fresh experience and ways of being in the world. So it's a very, very powerful opportunity here as we move through this Gemini energy. This is the opportunity to create an entirely new story. Along with creating an entirely new story is being willing to speak, being willing to find your voice. As I pointed to earlier, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the messenger of the gods. So a huge part of this energy deals with finding your voice. Collectively and individually right now, we are finding our voice. What is it that you have to say? There's something that's trying to emerge in you now that is new, different than anything that you have thought or spoken of before. If you're willing to get comfortable with uncertainty and change it up. So change up the routine, throw the monkey wrench in your routine. This is permission to really change it up. Throw that monkey wrench. This is one of those times to consciously change it up so that you are positioning yourself to receive new inspiration, divine inspiration, and then engage the willingness to speak or to write or to communicate, whether it's having conversations with new friends or new people. Maybe go to a co-working space where you get to meet new people and engage with new ideas and ways of thinking. This is a beautiful time to do that. And if you're a writer, a speaker, an improvisation artist, a comedian, these are beautiful times to create new video content, do new write-ups, blog posts, create videos. This is a really powerful time to allow yourself to be seen, and you don't have to be agreed with, but above all else, this is a very important time for you to feel heard. And it can be on a large scale with a broad audience, a large audience, or it can be with intimate, close relationships and people that you know already, with just engaging that willingness to think something new, believe something new, speak something new. And that all stems from the willingness to become completely present with exactly where you are. So you change up the routine, and when you actually do that, it's only normal that there's some anxiety around getting out of our comfort zone and creating something entirely new for ourselves. So when we do that, I want to invite you to, when that feeling of anxiety, if the feeling of anxiety comes, because some people really thrive on change and shock, but if you're not one of those people and you're really willing to take a step forward and optimize this full moon energy, and you change up your routine and try something you've never tried before, one tool to use is to practice acute presence. That really aligns and optimizes this energy as well. So the feeling of anxiety comes. Anxiety stems from either getting caught up in thoughts about the past or thoughts about the future. So bring it back to center, root into yourself, and become very present, even if that means a mindfulness practice where you're feeling how the earth feels underneath your feet. You're really processing in a very acute and powerful way. What is it that you're seeing? What are the colors around you? What are you smelling? What's different? Really appreciate the vibrancy of life as you engage with the most intense quality of presence that you ever have in your life before. So that presence removes the feeling of anxiety and creates a greater feeling of spaciousness inside of you, which is the perfect vessel to receive new inspiration, which is that seed that catalyzes you to have new thoughts, new feelings, new beliefs, new ways of speaking, and you really expand your horizons in that way, expanding your mind, expanding your horizons. Such a beautiful energy. One other piece that I want to point to here is that the sun is actually conjunct the planet Saturn. So a full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite in the sky. So the moon is in Gemini, the sun is in Sagittarius, and the planet Saturn is there conjunct the sun. The planet Saturn is the energy that gives us the ability to do what we don't really feel like doing. It gives us the ability to commit. So this is a beautiful time when these new ideas start to surface in your consciousness. Ask yourself, what am I willing to commit to over these next couple weeks during this moon cycle? And really commit to it. Really commit to it. Don't tell yourself you're going to commit to something that you're subconsciously or inside of yourself unsure about. Get clear about what it is that you want to commit to during this time. And Saturn energy also gives us the ability to stand true to those commitments over an extended period of time. So as we get closer to the turn of the new year, this is a really important time to allow this Gemini energy that brings in the qualities of shock and awe and wonder, changing it up, bringing in like breakthrough moments, new ideas entering our consciousness, to integrate those new ideas and root them into your being, instead of just allowing new ideas to come into you and fresh experience to enter you, and it's just a moment and then it passes through and you're right back to doing things the way that you used to. The Saturn energy actually gives us an evolutionary opportunity not only to receive divine inspiration through the Gemini piece, but to actually root it in, ground it inside of yourself, and commit to a truth that you're willing to stand behind and take enlightened action to align with as we turn into 2017. So you position yourself to really manifest something powerful in 2017. And when we come through to the new moon in Capricorn, which is right before the turn of the new year, that's going to further exponentiate this Saturn energy. So tune in to me in a couple weeks as well when we're going to take this a step further. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I'm Megan Zimmering. If you decide that you want to connect with me one-on-one, you can email me at megan@meganzimmering.com or check out my website, just meganzimmering.com. It's been a pleasure to connect with you all. I have so much love for you. Mwah.